Michael G. Gabel here, and I was inspired to make this video after listening to Judd Apatow on Pete Holmes' podcast yesterday. Judd's a funny guy, but he actually has this pretty serious side, and one of the topics he's chose to champion is the Bill Cosby rape allegation debacle. And as he was talking about it, he just kept going back to the fact that he was horrified how people had sort of stopped talking about it, how it really wasn't in the media, there were no thoughtful articles written about it. And I'm totally on the same page as him. I think it's an atrocity. Bill Cosby is quite possibly a criminal, and justice should be served. And I don't want to talk about that too much. What I really want to talk about in the same vein is the Floyd Mayweather Manny Pacquiao fight from Sunday. I didn't watch the fight, but I do want to talk about it. I think it's something we should still be talking about. I don't know a lot about boxing. I've seen some of the commentary and some of the feedback about how the fight went, but I'll give my analysis anyways. Floyd Mayweather won, we lost, and here's how. You don't get to a position like Floyd Mayweather's by losing. He's a 5-title world champion, undefeated in his professional career. You don't lose. He doesn't lose matches, he doesn't lose to opponents, and he doesn't lose control. This is a man who exercises complete control over every aspect of his life. His training regimen, his diet, his sleep schedule, his supplementation. So here's a guy who is in complete control over every aspect of his body and mind, and yet there are several well-documented cases of him brutally abusing women in his life. So why does he do this? It doesn't add up. If you read Lundy Bancroft's book, Why Does He Do That?, which is a seminal work on the abuser mindset, it comes down to two things: control and entitlement. I'm entitled to control you because I'm the man, or I make the money, or because that's what I believe. It doesn't matter where that mindset comes from, it's exercised through control. So Floyd Mayweather obviously isn't losing control. This is a man that doesn't lose control. His entire life is regimented. So it must come down to entitlement. He must, somewhere in his mind, believe that he's allowed to do this to women. The case in point is the fact that he forbid the 3 journalists who have questioned him about his history with domestic violence from even attending or commenting on the fight on Sunday. So, if he was to come out and say, I've done some terrible things in the past, I'm working on my actions, I'm working on my anger problem, I'm working on my abusive tendencies, we might be able to forgive him. But the simple fact that he refuses to let these journalists come and even question him proves that he believes it's okay. He thinks he can get away with it. And the second part of that is we let him. And that's why we lost on Sunday. We let him get away with this. Nevada lets him get away with this because he's such an economic boon. That just shows the fault in our society's view towards domestic violence. We let him get away with this because we make exceptions for him because he's a good fighter, because he's entertaining, because we love boxing. To make a terrible but necessary analogy, if Floyd Mayweather had a history of going out and beating the shit out of homosexuals, and it was documented, and he refused to apologize or make amends for his actions, we would not be watching him fight on TV. Why is it that we think it's okay when it's directed at women? And I think it's a discussion that needs to keep going on. I don't have the answers. I do think there were some really interesting articles put forth in the Atlantic and Huffington Post, and I'll link those below. And people were talking about the fight. I talked to people who were like, oh man, I really don't even like this guy. I wish I didn't even watch the fight. But you did. You watched it. You contributed to his ability to kind of dance around and avoid the subject. I don't know a lot about boxing, but apparently, Mayweather won not because of his offensiveness, because of his defensiveness. Because he's able to defend and deflect. And he's got a longer wingspan than Pacquiao, so he could keep him at arm's reach. And when Pacquiao went on the offensive, he brought him in close. So he kept him close to defend from being hurt, which is exactly what he's doing to us. He's keeping us close with misdirection. Oh no, look at this, I'm a good boxer. Don't look at my past. And it's just not working. It's not okay. What does this mean? What are we doing? How are we promoting this mindset, this belief that it's okay to abuse women? And I think it's something we need to take a hard look at.